Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, see their founder at least twice a day. Guy says quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase with Picatinny rail adapter, so you can mount it to any standard AR-15, like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more and see me shooting a flamethrower. And lastly, trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button and tell your friends and your enemies, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part of the podcast, you have the Bentley Continental GT Super Sport revealed, looking pretty darn cool. Now, this brought to us thanks to specifically Motor1.com, one of the writers over there by the name of Jeff Perez. And, well, I usually have to give a visual disclaimer for this part of the show because there's so many modern automobiles that are, well, disgusting looking, but this one actually looks pretty darn cool. Now, he says, quote, Bentley Continental GT Super Sports revealed a 657 horsepower rear-wheel drive masterpiece. The new Super Sports model sends 657 non-hybrid horsepower straight to the rear wheels in its most bonkers configuration yet. Here you can see, it looks pretty darn cool. I mean, shoot, those brake calibers are bigger than most people's thighs. And geez Louise, that's some serious horsepower and stopping power. And, but you know me, I'd love to get that in acid green or something. The color even more bizarre. Looks like the base color for this is gray, which I swear, car companies get silver, gray, and black paint for free. It seems to be like 90% of all cars these days. Looking at you, Porsche, but I partially digress. Again, credited to Jeff Perez, and he says, quote, Bentley introduced the Super Sports name in 1925 atop its 4.5-liter chassis. It was the first Bentley model capable of reaching 100 miles per hour, and with success at Le Mans throughout the late 1920s and early 1930s, it helped cement Bentley as a serious contender in the performance luxury space. Now, 100 years later, Bentley is reviving its Super Sports name. This time, it comes from a powerful, lightweight, says they have to clarify, for Bentley at least, all right, rear-wheel drive sports car based on the current Continental GT, and yes, it'll go well past 100 miles per hour. New Bentley Continental GT Super Sports notches the current model up to 11 with the most powerful twin-turbo V8 capable of 657 horsepower and 590 foot-pound of torque. It's paired with, I know I'm part of like the 5% who will care about this. Granted, this is stratospherically above my income level. I could perhaps afford the keychain from the store at the Bentley dealership, but this is it's paired with an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. Yeah. And that now I do say, importantly, it is not hybrid, which the fact that Bentley has done hybrids for a lot of their vehicles, I can't but think it just shows how stupidly disconnected they are from what the consumers want. I can't but think most consumers who drive Bentleys do not care about the extra 5 more miles per gallon or whatever they're going to get from the hybrid capability of the car. And geez Louise, you thought Bentleys were unreliable to begin with? Start putting more electronics in there, and it's going to get comically worse, which is saying something. Perhaps even more unreliable than a Ford Motor Company vehicle, which that is really saying something. Here you can see the Continental GT from the front, which again, looks awesome. Great angular, great curves, great angles. Nice, huge carbon fiber lip that's probably cost more than my Honda Civic. Now, they say, quote, it takes just 3.7 seconds for the Super Sports to reach 62 miles per hour, find a long enough stretch of road, and will continue to top speed of 192 miles per hour, which, again, for a heavy luxury vehicle, that is really good. In terms of supercar, no. To me, maybe it's just because when I was a kid, the big barometer for a supercar was 200 miles per hour. To me, it's got to hit over 200. So, especially, we'll see the prices for this. I mean, it should hit at least 201. Just a little tism of mine, which of course, I have many. You can see a couple more pictures of her. Now, they do say, quote, as the only non-hybrid Continental GT in the lineup, which, geez Louise, this is the only option if you do not want a hybrid. Yeah, interior looks okay. Obviously, probably got about 18 cattle worth of leather in there. So it's got to be really comfortable and nice. Oh, but seeing that stupid little automatic shift knob in the middle is so disappointing. I know they haven't made a stick shifter in years and years and years. I know, but still. Now, they say, quote, the Super Sport sheds just a few more pounds compared to its overly complex electrified siblings. Bentley touts that this is the lightest Continental GT to date, keeping the scales, oh geez, this is the funny part. This is the lightest one they have, folks, at 4,409 pounds. Wow. Now they say it's over 1,000 pounds lighter than the next latest GT variant at 5,421 pounds. It's no Miata, but it'll do in a pinch. They say Bentley uses a clever electronic limited slip differential to help send all that newfound power to the rear wheels. Also widened the car rear track by 16 millimeters and added torque brake vectoring with rear wheel steering. The steering, suspension, traction control systems, meanwhile, all have been completely recalibrated. They say the double wishbone front and multi-link rear suspension pair with Bentley's 48-volt electric anti-roll system that can detect and quash body roll in as little as 0.3 seconds. The brakes, Bentley claims, are the biggest on any modern production car. Holy smokes. 10 piston calibers with 440 millimeter carbon silicon carbide stoppers in front and 4 piston calibers with 410 millimeter discs in the rear, which, yeah, it's the thing where the rear brakes in this vehicle, which again, traditionally most of the braking is does on the front of the vehicle. That's why the discs and the brakes are calibers and pads are much bigger in the front of the vehicle. I mean, the rear brakes in this are bigger than most cars in the front. Got more pictures of the interior. That's a really good picture. It looks like it's on some type of runway right there. Well, it looks like a matte gray color there, which, not too shabby. I can see it can grow on me. They say the Super Sports have 3 specific drive modes depending on usage. Touring mode lifts the suspension and softens up the dampers for a more subdued ride. Bentley mode, they literally have one called Bentley mode. All right. Bentley mode sharpens up the throttle response and tweaks the chassis for a slightly more spirited experience. If you find yourself on the infamous Trans-Calvarian Highway, take over to Sport mode to unlock the sharpest, most aggressive settings. All told, Bentley says the new Super Sport corners 30% quicker than a standard Continental GT speed, with up to 1.3 G of peak lateral force. That's comparable to something like the Koenigsegg CCX. Though, unlike the Koenigsegg, this will unlike the Koenigsegg, this will depreciate by like 90% in 3 years. I mean, these things are the comic book definition. I mean, it is just comical. Worse than Mercedes when it comes to depreciating like a rock. Now, I say visually, Bentley threw subdue out the window and went bonkers with balances, skirts, wheels, and wings, all doused in carbon fiber to help reduce the weight. New front bumper features an integrated splitter and is the biggest ever fitted to a road-going Bentley. It's complemented by 2 dive planes on each corner of the bump to help reduce lift. A new rear diffuser continues the Argo theme on back, while one-piece fixed spoiler on the trunk generates 661 pounds more downforce than the standard Continental GT. The Super Sports also wear special 22-inch lightweight forged wheels developed by Model A Racing specifically for the car. They say weight savings continue inside, where Bentley has fully removed the rear seats, which, yeah, for this car, they're not going to be used too much. They say, sorry, kiddos, that lightweighting will also include ditching the rear audio system, slimming up the front seats, and removing some of the sound insulation, which, yeah, I'm one of those guys where I don't want sound insulation on a performance vehicle. I want to hear the car, especially the engine. Now, they say, while less insulation will undoubtedly yield a louder ride, it'll at least allow you to hear the full-length titanium exhaust system a little bit better, which is made by a company called Acroport. I believe that's how you pronounce it. They say the seats themselves are 2 lightweight, heavily bolstered buckets positioned low in the vehicle. Buyers will be able to select from a handful of monotone, dual tone, or even tritone interior combinations with a healthy mix of leather and carbon fiber accents. Chairman and CEO Dr. Frank Stefan Walzer says, quote, "The new Super Sports is more than just the most driver-focused Bentley yet. It signifies a return to Bentley making some extreme cars, ones that combine extraordinary breadth of ability with true driver engagement, while remaining pieces of automotive artwork unique and bespoke to each customer." He continues saying, quote, "Bentley has always thrived when revealing a more daring side, and the new Super Sports is a statement to our intent while celebrating 100 years of the name. This is the first project developed from start to finish since I joined Bentley Motors, and proud of our team and at the speed to which we created this car, so different than the GT on which it is based. As expected, Bentley will only build a couple hundred examples of the new supercars, each individually numbered. Only 500 units are planned globally. The order books are open as of opening March 2026, with production slated to kick off later that year. Pricing for the new Bentley Continental GT Super Sports remains a mystery, but expect a pretty significant price bump over the current Continental GT, which starts, and that's a big key term here, starts at $285,000. Plus, around 10% for the tax man when you register that vehicle. Which, yeah, it is comical. Again, they talk about all the lightweight, and yeah, it's still, over 4,000 pounds. But again, I get it. It's a luxury vehicle. By default, they're a lot heavier than standard. And again, in terms of styling, they look pretty cool. And again, Bentley's mostly nowadays known for, well, I would argue, just Hollywood, the stupid SUV that they made, which, again, I understand SUVs are a very important segment of the automotive market. They're very highly profitable. A lot of consumers like them. Personally, I find them an abomination to the automotive industry myself, but I know a lot of people do appreciate them. And yeah, this looks pretty cool. It'll be interesting to try to turn it or kind of integrate it with pop culture and some movies. And it took me a minute to remember what movie that I remember a Bentley Continental GT being like one of the hero cars in the film. It was Doomsday, so I thought it'd be cool to play that for a minute here. It's pretty bombastic in terms of language. It's a horror movie. But yeah, it was a legendary moment where, one of those end of the world kind of movies, a virus outbreak. And this is one of the hero cars in the film. So this is one of the chase scenes. And again, this would have been so much cooler if you saw the driver, shifting it. Obviously, it's automatic, but to me, this stuck out. I still remember this movie to this day. Now, the funniest part is, piece of crap, vintage police car, standard off the street cars catching up to this. But still, it's a movie. I know.
Bloody believable.
Put your foot down!
I'm tired of running from these bastards. Hold on.
The art sucks.
Step on it!
Now, horsepower, come on. Great go. Or in real life. They do it for dramatic effect, but it's like, this is Hollywood. Cars got exploded.
Too fucking close.
You think?
It's a movie because this Bentley's stored for like decades and it actually runs, which Bentley's already known for many things, but not
Hold on, we're going for a ride.
You out of your fucking mind?
See if you actually use the manumatic mode, which is a disappointing thing with the automatic transmission, where it's automatic, but you could, shift it. Well, there's no third pedal, of course, but you could move it a little bit, and it'll shift when it's called manumatic, but yeah, it'll shift if you go up and down on the little shift knob. Again, there's no third pedal, and you can't override the computer, so it's like, it would be moderately more entertaining than her just going from, reverse to drive. Still disappointing, obviously, transmission. Again, that's probably one of the coolest things in terms of like pop culture in a movie where like the Bentley wasn't just a show car driving 2 miles per hour up to the club. But yeah, it'll be cool to see this. Maybe we'll see it at a car show someday. Yeah, I'd probably guess it's probably going to cost $500,000, just or yeah, some crazy amount of money. But let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so click that button. Greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback. So I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.